Today we are going to discuss the Carter coat of arms. But before we get started, we wanted to let you know that we offer genealogy research service at our website. Please visit us at coadb.com. First coat of arms to discuss is blazoned: Argent, a chevron sable between three cartwheels vert; Crest, on a mount vert, a greyhound sejant Argent, sustaining a shield to the last, charged with a cartwheel vert. And this was borne by the Carters of London, England. Robert Carter, alive in the year 1634, was a vintner of London, and William Carter of Westminster, his brother. Sons of William Carter of Westminster, who was son of Thomas Carter of Garston in County Hertfordshire, England. Very similar coat of arms with two roundles instead of the cartwheels or Catharine-wheels in chief. And this is for the Carters of Garston in County Hertfordshire. William Carter, alive in the year 1634, son of Robert Carter of Garston, son of William Carter, son of Richard Carter, both of Garston. Argent, on a chevron between three Catharine-wheel sable, as many cinquefoils of the first, said to be for Carter of London. Now, we weren't able to find this one for sure, but one possibility is Ansel Carter, alive in the year 1634, grocer of London, son of William Carter of Kempston. He had sons George, John, Ansel, William, and daughter Jane. Here we have purple, argent, and azure, a chevron between three Catharine wheels counterchanged; crest on a wreath of the colors, a talbot sejant ermines; the dexter forepaw supporting an escutcheon, purple, argent, and azure, a Catharine wheel counterchanged. For Carter of Northwold in County Norfolk, England, John Burroughs Carter, Esquire, a justice of the peace, was son of Charles Carter of Northwold, who was son of John Carter of Northwold, born 1795, a justice of the peace and deputy lieutenant. He was born John Langham, but later assumed the surname Carter by royal license in the year 1813. Per chevron, or and purpur, two taws in chief, and a cartwheel of 8 spokes and base, all counterchanged. Crest on a wreath of the colors in front of a purpur, a demi-cartwheel or. And this was for John Robert Carter, born 1853, only son of John Carter, superintendent of the Royal Military College. Sable, 2 lions rampant combatant or. Argent, 2 lions rampant combatant sable. Crest on a mural crown or, charged with 3 hertz, a talbot passant argent. For Carter of Robertstown and Rathnally in County Meath, Ireland. It was registered to Thomas Carter, Esquire, Sergeant at Arms, who had son Thomas Carter, seen here, born in the year 1690, Master of the Rolls of Ireland and Secretary of State, who had son Thomas Carter, a Member of Parliament, and Henry Boyle Carter of Castlemartin, who was Sheriff of County Kildare. And Henry Boyle had grandson John Carter, born 1785, who was an Admiral in the Royal Navy. Here we see the family estate of Castlemartin. We have a quarterly coat of arms for Carter of Watlington Park in County Oxford, England, and of Shane Manor in County Mayo, Ireland. Thomas Shane Carter of Watlington Park, born 1813, son of William Henry Carter of Castlemartin, who was the son of Thomas Carter of Castlemartin, who was the son of Henry Boyle Carter, who married the daughter and heiress of Sir Arthur Shane of Kilmore. Here we see Watlington Park, as well as Shane Lodge. Azure, 2 lions rampant combatant or. Crest, the lion's head erased argent or. For Carter of St. Column, however that's pronounced, in County Cornwall, England. Richard Carter, born 1618, was a Member of Parliament. John Carter, Michael Carter, and James Carters, all sons of John Carter of St. Column, who died in 1668, who was the brother of Richard. They were sons of John Carter, who was son of James, son of Richard Carter, all of St. Column. Same coat of arms with a different crest, being on a mural coronet sable, a talbot passant argent, for the same family. So one of the men must have bore one of the crests and another the other. Not sure which goes to which. Azure Talbot passant or armed in Lagude gules between 2 Fermal of the second for Carter of Hanbury in County Worcestershire, England. Not able to know for sure who this belonged to, but I have some notes here. There was a John Carter of Hanbury, born 1700, who had numerous issue. Later there was Arthur Carter, born 1848, a English cricket player and clergyman whose first ecclesiastical post was at Hanbury. He was the son of Reverend William Carter. Another, this one featuring crest out of a mural crown or masoned azure, a demi-monkey proper, said to date to the 15th century, and it was born by the 7 sons of Colonel John William Carter of the Indian Army, born 1815, including William Graydon Carter, a colonel in the 1st Battalion Essex Regiment, Edmund James Carter, Esquire, Lieutenant Colonel in the Indian Army, and Francis Mark Rodney Carter, Esquire, a lieutenant in the Royal Navy. Azure a Talbot passant between 3 round buckles or crest a lion's head erased or Freddie Sable for Carter of Setrington in County Yorkshire, England. John Carter, an Anglican priest who was rector of Setrington in the 1640s and Archdeacon of Chester until his death in 1667, was the son of Abraham Carter of Lisle in County Bedfordshire, who was the son of John Carter of Lisle. And next we have very similar coat of arms for Carter of Yorkshire, England. Not stated, meaning I wasn't able to find exactly who it was granted to, but I listed one possibility being John Carter, Esquire of Tunstall and Richmond, who was born around the year 1750. Per pale, argent, and sable, a Talbot passant counterchanged on a chief engrailed gules 3 buckles or. This was for Carter of Weston in County Yorkshire, England. It was granted to Emma Carter, born 1825, wife of Christopher Dawson, and daughter of William Elmsall Carter, Esquire, and co-heiress of her brother, William Vavasour Carter, Esquire of Weston. And here we see Weston Hall. Per fess, sable and gules, a Talbot passant or, between in chief 2 round buckles and in base a cross flory argent crest, on a wreath of the colors out of a battlements of a tower argent, a demi-monkey gules charged on the shoulder with a bezant, and holding between the hands a shuttle of the first, for John Carter, born 1853, the eldest son of John Carter of Barnsley. Another for George William Carter, Esquire of Eccles Hill in County Staffordshire, born 1842, a barrister, and he had son William Edward Carter, born 1885. Gules a cross flory or on a cheap azure, 3 round buckles of the second, crest a Talbot's head argent. For Carter of Coningsby in Lincolnshire and of Nassington in Northumberland, England. John Carter of Coningsby, alive in the year 1634, eldest son of John Carter of Nassington, who was son of another John Carter of Nassington. And it was later borne by John Carter, born 1804, High Sheriff of London and Lord Mayor of London. Very similar coat of arms. Next is sable, a cross lozenge argent between 4 quatrefoils pierced or. For Carter of Killucan in County Westmeath, Ireland. Reverend John Carter, rector of Killucan, had daughter Margaret, who married James Brown, who died in the year 1634. Argent, a cross lozenge gules between 4 quatrefoils vert on a chief sable, 3 plates. Crest, a demi-lion rampant sable holding between the paws a cross lozenge gules, each lozenge charged with the plates. For Carter of Ireland, I wasn't able to find who it was granted to, but there are several possibilities listed below, including Gilbert Carter of Anningkeen in County Galway, who died in 1680. Oliver Carter of Killula in County Roscommon, a cleric who died around the year 1768. And several others. Arthur Carter of Leicester in County Kerry, a lieutenant who died around the year 1675. William Carter of Dublin, a merchant. Here we have Checky Argent in Azure, a quatrefoil or, on a chief per pale indented gules, and of the last 2 quatrefoils counterchanged. Crest on a wreath of the colors, a cubit arm. Erect vested gules charged with 2 roses paleways argent, barbed and seated, the hand grasping a carbine and bent sinister between 2 branches of oak, fruit all proper. Motto, few words, fair faith. Granted to the descendants of Jeremiah Carter, who was born at Hilltop House in Pudsey in the year 1783. He was a woolen merchant and a member of the committee for the erection of London Bridge. He lived in Germany. He was the son of another Jeremiah Carter, who was also a cloth maker and merchant. Ultimately, they descended from Eli Carter, grandson of John Carter. Argent, a cross gules between 4S carbuncle sable, Crest, on a wreath of the colors, an arm embowed in armor, sable, charged with 2 lozenges, or the hand holding a roll of paper proper. For Reverend Conway Richard Dobbs Carter, born 1842. He had sons, Reverend Fitzwilliam Carter, Vicar of Whitley, William Carter of Sydney, Australia, and Reverend Brian Bernard Carter. Another for Sir Gilbert Thomas Gilbert Carter, born 1848. He was an administrator in the government of Trinidad, and he was the only son of Thomas Gilbert Carter, a commander in the Royal Navy. And he himself had sons Humphrey Gilbert Carter, who lived in Barbados, and John Cadmond Gilbert Carter. Quarterly Argent and Azure, a cross counterchanged, a border sable, Crest, a dexter, arm and armor, and bowed proper, holding in the hand a roll of paper. It was actually for Cartier of Kent in England. From Bedgebury, John Carter of Bedgebury, born 1733, was governor of Bengal in India. And here we see Bedgebury. Sable, a chevron ermine between 3 fishes, Harry and Argent, for Carter of London. Gules, a chevron between 3 lozenge buckles, or. And several more we weren't able to find the blazon for, but we know who it was granted to. William Carter of Ruffton in County Norfolk, granted in 1610. Thomas Carter of Kempton in County Bedfordshire, granted before the year 1650. Goddard Carter of Elvescott in Oxford, granted in 1670. And Thomas Carter of Kendal in Westmoreland, Dean of Tuam and Rector of Ballymore. George William Carter of Nottingley in Yorkshire, a brewer, granted in 1886. And lastly, John Carter of Harrogate in Yorkshire, who was granted a coat of arms in 1897. And if you enjoyed this video, please visit us at coadb.com, where we offer genealogy research services, high-resolution digital JPEGs, and heraldic merchandise such as t-shirts, posters, mugs, and canvas prints. Like, share, and subscribe. Link in the description. Thank you very much.